Hey everybody, welcome to Monday Night Live. I am Abby Taylor, and I'm so excited that you guys are joining us tonight as we dive in and talk about the first pillar here with your business, which is recruiting. Recruiting, gotta love recruiting. And, recruiting is really just the concept of getting people to join you on this journey. So in order to succeed at all the other pillars, which is retention, duplication, and leadership, you've got to master this first skill of recruiting. This is really where it starts. So it's actually really ironic that I got chosen to facilitate this call tonight because I will share with you guys that this past month was one of the lowest recruiting months in all of my 5 years here. I recruited this many people. It was a bit of a gut punch, you guys. But looking back, I know exactly why I did not recruit. I had a very empty funnel from the previous months from events, and what was the incentive this year? I cannot even remember off the top of my head what it was. Whatever incentive we had in March, someone put it in the chat, but I was thinking iPad. Was it iPad? Okay, it was. Okay, good. Yeah, this is my second go around with the iPad. So, but I lacked adding new friends. I lacked starting new conversations. So I know exactly what happened and why it happened. And, even though it hurts a little bit, it's also a learning curve and a lesson. And like John Maxwell says, you either win or you learn. And I learned. So this month, yeah, you better believe there's lots of intentional actions going on for me. But I want to turn over this call because we've got two very lovely, smart, rockin' ladies tonight who are itching and maybe a little bit nervous to share their tips with you all. Do it scared, right, you guys? But I'm so proud of them for being willing to step up and go and analyze and figure out, why am I having success? How am I doing this? And what can I share with all of Freedom Team tonight to help them go and do the same thing? So thank you, ladies, for taking the time to prepare your content and for showing up, cameras on, doing it scared, ready to share with us tonight. We're so excited to hear from you. So as we're listening, guys, go ahead and type questions that you have. As you're listening, if something comes up or you're like, oh, I want to know a little bit more about that, go ahead and type your questions in the chat and then we'll get to that at the end. So first up, we have Angela House. She is a senior gold ambassador. She has been with Plexus now for 1.5 years. She's a kindergarten teacher, a boy mama to 3. Angela, go ahead and unmute, and we would love to hear your top recruiting tips.
Okay, guys, I'm here. And like Abby said, I'm doing it scared. When I heard her message, I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. Like, I can't wait to do that. And then immediately my brain told me, no, that's very scary. So you should not be so excited. So here I am doing stuff scared that I'm encouraging my team to do right now. So this is a good thing for me. And I will grow. So I have some tips for you that have helped me. And what I want to say to people that are just getting started sharing too, is these tips are not something that as soon as I started sharing, these were the things that I was doing. I definitely failed a lot, felt silly a lot, had to apologize to people a lot about being like, oh, that was kind of weird. I'm still learning. And that is something that we are always doing. So know that we have all been in your position if you are starting sharing right now. So for my top tips, my first one is to build trust with your network. So if you think back to when you started with Plexus, if the person that helped you get started was somebody that you didn't feel in some way that you trusted them. Syra, for example, she shared recipes, and that's why I followed Syra. I trusted her because she was adding value to me. So it's important that we are building trust with our network, because when we pop into somebody's messenger, if we haven't built that trust and they haven't seen us showing up on our Facebook being authentic and vulnerable about things, it's not likely that, one, they might not answer us, which we're used to. But when they do decide to answer us, they might just be a quick no because they are not sure who we are. So we need to be showing up on our social media, showing people what our values are, adding value to them, and being relatable to people. It's okay to have hard days and share that kind of stuff. And I've found through this journey that before that was something I kind of held to myself, and that wasn't something I wanted to share with everybody because I felt like, ooh, what are people going to think about that? But I've through this journey, even people that haven't joined me in Plexus have fostered relationships with people because I share stuff that's not always the most fun stuff that we deal with in our life. So thinking about, how you're showing up on your social media is going to be really important in how much people are trusting you to help them on their own journey. And that really goes into my second tip, which is to foster relationships with people. Relationships in this business are going to be huge. We're talking about people. So we have to know that if we are not intentionally trying to build relationships with people, Plexus and otherwise, it's not likely that they're going to jump in with us. They might learn some stuff from us, and then they might have somebody else that's sharing about Plexus on their social media, and they feel like, hey, that's somebody I can relate to more. That's somebody that's tried to build a relationship with me. I think I'm going to go work with her and get started on my health journey. So it's super important to me that people know whether they start with me and start on their own health journey or with the opportunity, that their value isn't dependent on if they spend money or if they are a new join in my back office. So trust and relationships really are going to be huge in helping you to grow your business and find the people that you really want to work with. My third tip is to ask good questions. I was terrible at this in the beginning. And if we aren't asking good questions when we are in the recruiting process, we are not getting a full picture of what people's needs really are. So we need to make sure that even if it feels uncomfortable, we continue to ask questions and listen to people. I'm still working on this. I talk a lot and don't listen as much. So that's something that I'm growing in right now, but we really want to have the whole picture of what people are dealing with so that we can best support them individually. We know that everybody's needs are so vast, and if we don't know each individual person's needs, it's hard to support them the best way that we can. One of the reasons I didn't ask questions in the beginning is because I was fearful of people having a conversation with me and then me not knowing answers to questions they might have had. So just know that what I found is that's actually a really good problem to have, because when you share with people that you are talking to about the products or the opportunity, it's comforting to know that you're not an expert. So if they know like, oh, she doesn't really know everything, they aren't going to feel like they need to know everything down the road for duplication. So it's okay to tell people I have this really awesome team. I have no idea what the answer is to that question, but I know someone on my team does. So I'm going to reach out to them. And if they don't know, I know where to find the information because we have resources everywhere. Tip number 4 is one that we hear all the time, and that is follow up until they tell us no. And then maybe follow up a little bit later on down the road. But sorry, I'm looking at my notes. I have started being more intentional about varying my follow-ups as far as not always typing my messages, but sending more voice messages. And it has also helped me to be able to get more IPA in every day, because I can do it when I'm driving to work, and I can do it when I'm on my way home, or I can do it when I'm walking the dog. So it helps me, and it also helps people to hear my voice and know that I'm a real person behind social media. A lot of these people are cold market for me now, so they don't know me personally. And all of these things added up are helping to gain their trust, build their relationship, and be able to serve them the best way that I can. Another great tip for follow-up is to make sure that you're varying how you follow up with people. So our team is really intentional about having events. We do messenger chats, Zoom events, sip and sees. So having those resources are really helpful when you are following up with people over a long period of time, like we know it takes for a lot of people, because then we're not saying the same thing over and over, and we're not just checking in. We have something to offer them. And it also helps us feel more intentional with following up and, showing that our intent is to help them. And my last tip is mindset, which really, if we don't have this part down, it's going to be hard to do all the rest. And this was something I pushed off in the beginning for a long time because I had a lot of stuff to work through that had nothing to do with plexus, but it had to do with my view of myself, and it had to do with the value I saw in myself, and therefore my belief in myself was definitely not there when I started. And I had to dig into some really hard stuff, and it has been probably the biggest benefit of, outside of health, it's almost been the biggest benefit of sharing, because I've been able to overcome some of my limiting beliefs about myself just generally as a person. So do not skip mindset. It's going to pay off. And when you're talking to people, they're going to be able to tell how you feel, whether you're intending for them to hear that part or not. People can tell in your posture how you feel about yourself, the products, and the opportunity. So make sure that you are investing in yourself, because that is going to help all of the above. Hopefully those are helpful.
That was so fantastic. Way to go, girl. I'm so proud of you. That was amazing. I loved how you said, showing up, being vulnerable and relatable and being real. That is so good, because we're going to attract who we are, and people want to see real people out there, not just this picture perfect person, because nobody is that person. And then I loved how you said, we're seeing people as real people that we can care about, not just dollar signs. Well, you said something along those lines, and that's so good. And I can just see your heart for people. So you did a wonderful job. Thank you so much. Next we have Nicole Jens. She's also a boy mama of 2 boys. She's also a senior gold ambassador, and she's been around for 3 years, and she's now a stay-at-home mom. So Nikki, if you want to unmute, we'd love to hear your top tips as well.
Hey everyone, thank you, Abby. I too am doing this totally scared, but we can do hard things. And I was so honored to be asked to do this, but then I immediately questioned what type of value could I have to offer, but we all have value to offer. So I didn't listen to that fear, and here I am. So I really thought this week on what I could share with you all about recruiting. And I have 5 tips that I've come up with. Tip number 1, show up consistently on social media. Post every day and add some sort of value to your audience. And be you, be authentic, be real. I happen to like being vulnerable and sharing the hard stuff and how I'm growing through it. People like to see transformations and not just the physical transformations. So don't be afraid to share your story, even the messy parts of your story. And people are always watching you, even if they aren't liking or commenting on what you're sharing. So don't let lack of engagement keep you from posting. And show up in your stories consistently. Give people a glimpse into your daily life. And then sprinkle plexus into your content. I'm actually seeing better engagement when I'm not posting about plexus every day. And another tip here, message the people that you see following your stories, and just, it can be a simple reach out like, hey, Wendy, thanks so much for your continued support in my stories. I really appreciate it. Are you on a health journey as well? And then same thing with the people who are commenting on your posts. Message them, reach out to them. That can be as simple as, hey, Carly, I hope you're doing well. I couldn't help but notice that you liked my plexus post the other day. Is that simply moral support, or do you have some questions for me? That opens the door for you when they're liking and engaging on your social media, for you to be in their inbox and reaching out to them. But put the effort into branding yourself and be consistent. Tip 2, show your people the value in what you have to offer them. Some of this you can accomplish through your content on social media, but Mostly this is going to happen in your conversations. So ask more questions to learn more about their health, their daily struggles, and find out what some of their pain points might be. Something that I've started using more is tell me more about that when they share something with you. If they say that they're struggling with their energy or their sleep, ask them how that impacts them on a daily basis. How long have they been dealing with that? The more you know, the easier it will be to show them the value of what these products could do for them. And then utilize the resources and tools that we already have in place, like share testimonials with them, get them in the gut health page, use product videos. Two of my favorites are Abby's triplex video and Emily's reset and triplex video. And don't forget about three-way chats with your sponsor, especially if you're new or if you're helping your people start sharing, because there's so much value in that third-party validation. And it is also valuable for you to see how your sponsor moves through conversations and works through objections. If you're not new and not doing as many of these three-way chats, don't be afraid to still utilize your sponsor and ask for feedback, send screenshots, and then utilize events. So something I'm finding helpful and effective are those messenger chat events. It is a really simple and valuable way to show multiple people what these products are and what they can do. And this is especially helpful for your new sharers getting started. My next tip is connect and personalize. So this is an area that I am growing the most in right now. What do I mean by that? Spend time building relationships, especially with new people that you are connecting with. Get to know them, ask more questions, ask about what they do and where they just went on vacation, what's been their favorite part of summer so far. Just get curious about their life. Ask for advice on something they seem to know a lot about or seem to be really good at. People like to talk about themselves and their life. And they also like to feel that they have something of value to offer. Spending time doing this may also reveal some of their pain points, but more importantly, it shows you care and that you're not just after a sale. It helps us put the focus on them and not just our own goals. And this is a relationship business after all. So it's really important to spend some time here. And then when you do bring up plexus, you're able to be more genuine and more personalized with your message and speak to a specific need that they may have. And then you'll have more credibility with them as well. And this is also important to continue doing, even if somebody tells you no, or not right now, or they go quiet on you. Keep connecting and keep trying to build that relationship with them. Tip number 4, do something that scares you. So we all know by now that there's no growth in our comfort zone, and getting uncomfortable is scary. I guarantee that everyone on here has something that scares them when it comes to recruiting. So whether that's sending your first message, connecting with your cold market, overcoming objections, sending voice clips, meeting in person, hosting an event, whatever your scary thing is, here's my advice. Go and do it. Pick one thing that you could start implementing this week and be willing to be bad at it before you become good at it. So that list that I just rattled off, those are all things that I was scared to do. And it wasn't pretty at first. Voice clips were something I was absolutely terrified and I resisted for the longest time. And now it's something that I am good at and I actually enjoy. And they're also really effective to do. Meeting in person with people has been super uncomfortable for me, but I am focusing there right now, setting up play dates, coffee dates, handing out samples in person. And guess where I'm growing? In relationship building. So be willing to keep growing and do the scary things, and you will see growth in your business too. Keep your big vision right in front of you to remind you why you are doing this and what you are growing towards. Lastly, I have a couple tips about closing and helping your prospects take that leap to join you. My best advice here, like after you've done all these other things that I just talked about and you've shown them the value in what this could do for them, don't be afraid to ask them to join you. Don't just wait for them to come to you and say that they are ready. One way I do this is by ending my message with something like, did you have some other questions for me, or are you ready to get started? I also utilize sales and limited time offers to create a sense of urgency as a follow-up to help me close, especially at the end of the month. And then something else that has been working really well for me is offering a cashback incentive to cover their membership fee. If that's not something that you're able to do, that's totally okay. But it is definitely a perk for people if you're able to offer that. And then it's important to keep in mind that it's their timing and not ours. If they didn't join you this month or last month, keep following up, keep connecting and building that relationship. Keep showing them the value and then ask them again if they're ready. So those are my top tips. I'm not an expert in this. I don't follow this perfectly with every single person, but these are the things that I've learned along the way and what I'm finding helpful with where I'm at in my business right now. So wherever you are in your business, just stay consistent and get uncomfortable. Go learn, grow, and implement. I hope that that was helpful.
Nicole, that was so good. I'm so proud of you. You were so composed and you gave us so much wisdom to think about. I loved your message examples that you gave. I can tell that you've been a great student of mine over the years. And, I loved how you said, go take specific scary actions in the area that you know you need work in, because that's what it's going to take to move the needle forward in that area. So you did a fantastic job, Angela and Nicole. It is no surprise that you guys are seeing huge success in the pillar of recruiting. So thank you so much for taking time to share all of those hot tips with us tonight. We've got a few minutes. Well, it is 8:30, but I'll take a few questions if anybody has them burning that they want answers for before we jump off. Now is the time to ask those.
I have a question.
Yeah.
When Nicole and Angela, when you guys are doing your relationship building parts of conversations, are you how often are you going in there? How often are you following up? Are they part of your regular follow-up system? Are you throwing things in there more frequently? How many people are you following up with? I'm just curious about all that. I mean, connecting with on a daily basis.
I don't have a specific system for it. I more so just, if there are people that are on my radar that are really excited, but for some reason it's just taking more time, I'm more intentional with those people about getting in their stories so that they see I'm not only talking about Plexus all the time, or if I see them post something, then I'll send them a message. But I wouldn't say, for me, I don't have a specific relationship building kind of system that I follow. I just know there are certain people that I have on a list that are people that I know are kind of almost there, and I'm intentional with making touches with those people outside of Plexus, because I want them to understand that I'm still going to keep talking to you, even if you haven't got started yet, and you maybe never will. But like I said before, I want them to know that it's not based on their order if I'm going to continue to build a relationship. So I don't know, Nicole, if you have a good system, then you could, I can borrow yours.
I don't have a system either. It sounds like we need one maybe. I know I'm not always necessarily messaging people to connect and build relationships. If someone's been engaging with me in my messenger or however I'm messaging them, I also am be sure to like go onto their social media and engage in their content. If they post in their stories, I'm just following them and commenting on their stuff. But yeah, I don't have a specific for the people who aren't responding to me. I'm not, continually trying to reach out and engage. I'll push them out. But the people who are engaging with me, I try to regularly be talking with them.
Yeah, that's a great question, Emily. So yeah, I think to prevent people from falling through the cracks, you guys will want to make sure you're developing some sort of system. So, even if it's that list of people like Angela said, then, making sure you have that list somewhere and you're checking it off and you're seeing, those 8 to 12 touches or personal connections or however you want to make that. But you can go and create your own system, right? Because I have been very guilty of not having systems. And then I end up leaving someone behind. And then when I drum up conversation again, oh, they're already with another company or they're on another product or they joined somebody else's team. So we do want to make sure we're having some sort of system or keeping people organized. DOE could be Google Docs, it could be your written calendar, or, phone calendar, whatever works best for you guys. One more question, if there's one hanging out there.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
I know. Okay. Well, Emily said to do this after, but I feel like you guys might have the answer. So if it's okay with Emily, I'll ask it now. But I had the 3-way call question. I think they're so good to do those. And I want to get them on the phone with Emily ASAP. I have 2 ladies in mind that need to talk to her. But they're both extreme busy and we live in different places. One's a flight attendant, one rides horses all day long because that's her business, but they both have such a good they're just talking to people constantly. So I feel how do I get them on a 3-way call? I've tried to schedule it 2 or 3 times and they just kind of okay, I don't know what to, they're let's do it, but let's do it next week. And then I never, I don't want to push them away either by being, I don't know.
Yeah, I can share what I've found and what I had to change, because I feel like in the beginning when I was sharing, I had a lot of people that didn't want to get on 3-way calls, and I don't like to be on phone calls, so I totally get it. I am one of those people that doesn't like to talk on the phone. I'm getting better because I have to do it now. But I stopped making it sound like it was an option and more like it was just part of what we do. So I'll say something like, hey, it's going to be really great when, I don't know what I say, but I say something to the effect of, what do I say? So I say something like, it's going to be really important that we help get you started off on the right track so that you feel confident with everything. And so my friend Syra and I will jump on the phone with you and help you get started so that you feel good about getting started on your products. And so then I'll give 2 options for what time, does Tuesday or Wednesday work at 5 o'clock? And then they kind of are just not given so much freedom, I guess, as I was giving before, to be no, maybe in a couple weeks or something. And I still have people that'll try to push me off. But I guess my advice is to make it less of sound like an optional thing and more of this is just something that we do so that we can help you the best way you can. And I'll say something to the effect of, it just helps give an extra layer of support when Syra knows what your goals are. And then as you're getting started, we can make sure that you're feeling good about it. Hopefully that's helpful.
Yep, that was
Yes,
so
yes,
good,
yes.
Angela. So I agree. It's, make it about them and how they're going to benefit from the call. And then you don't make it an option and you give them some time limits. You don't just open up the calendar like, when do you have time? It's, I've got this day and this day, what works best for you. So see if those tips can help you there, Tara. And you guys, we're going to shut this down. It's 8:36, but I just thought it was really interesting how both Nicole and Angela had a lot of the same tips. You guys, so it's not rocket science. We have learned these things from coaching, from the guides, from practicing, from failing forward, from taking action when we're not even sure if it's going to work, right? That's how we learn this. We've got to be willing to get uncomfortable. You've got to take ownership of this pillar for your business. And you guys can totally go and have a fantastic booming month of July here when you go and put all these things into practice. So thank you for being on tonight. Thank you, ladies, again for sharing all your top tips, and we will see you guys later on. Bye.